Welcome to the Utility Security Podcast, your command center for all things utility security. From power plant warriors to grid guardians, and even curious citizens, this podcast is your essential briefing on keeping up to date with knowledge and insights for securing our nation's utilities. Expert intel through interviews with security chiefs, tech wizards, and policy shapers. Tune in as we explore the latest vulnerabilities, industry best practices, and inspiring stories of resilience from the frontline heroes keeping our grids secure.
We're joined today with Martin Vojtek, who's a business director of 3D surveillance at Hexagon. And we're going to be talking about a fantastic new technology solution for substations that I had a chance to do a little bit of research on before this podcast, and super excited to be talking to Martin. So Martin, welcome to the podcast. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background in security and specifically utility security?
Okay, thank you, Curtis. My name is Martin Vojtek. I am CEO of a company called Tacticaler, and we are part of Hexagon since 2020. And my background is, I work in over 20 years in the security industry. Actually, about the Lidar vision, that was a really nice story because we deliver or we work on some specific projects for our troops, for our army, which was based on the passive infrared detectors, and the peer detectors has addressable beams. So when the intruders was around us, we knew the direction, and we were able to rotate the PTC's cameras into that intruders. But we didn't know exactly where the intruder is. We know on the direction. So it was it looks a little bit like what we are doing right now, but it was more like fake because we didn't know the exact position of the intruders, just direction. So since that, I start thinking about how to make the system better, and we test lots of technologies. And finally, I think it was in 2015, we find out that the Lidar technology will perfectly serve for us, because finally we had a technology which was able to tell us XYZ positions of intruders around us, and we were able to rotate the PTC's cameras, which were completely on the different building somewhere else. So that's why we start thinking about to develop such a the security systems based on the Lidar technology. Mm-hmm. And also after this, we start thinking about how to present the results for the operators. And we had an idea. Actually, I am inventor of the Lidar vision, and our idea were we connect gaming industry, because we are using the Unity 3D engine. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we are supporting the digital twins, and finally we were able to present the positions of intruders in the full 3D Max in full digital twins. So it's completely game changer, because this is situational awareness, so finally you will, or our operators finally understand what's going on in the securing area. That's right. Yeah. So, and in 2017, we released first version of, it was named Accurate Vision. Now it's renamed to the Lidar Vision. So since 2017, it's on the market, the Lidar Vision. So,
Okay.
it's a short story about it.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I think visually it looks pretty impressive, and I have some questions for you during their conversation today, more about diving deeper into what the technology can do. The topic that we're kind of getting together to talk about today is substation security. That's definitely a high priority for our readership and our listeners. I read the case study you sent over. It was a great reference to the UK fire event that happened earlier this year, and just kind of the impact that people experience when a substation goes down. So, kind of talked about it a little bit, but, can you talk more about, your approach when you're thinking about the application for substation security? It's very critical. What sort of approach did you take building the solution?
Exactly. This is where we are aiming to the critical infrastructure of the states. By the way, we have many installation in the nuclear. We are protecting nuclear power stations, regular power station, and also, of course, the power grids, substations, which is in these days very, very important to protect this kind of the areas. And why a LiDAR vision is perfectly fit for it? It's actually, my answer is our solution is perfectly fit everywhere because when something's happened, you need to understand, what's going on, where these intruders are, because our system can show you in the real time how many intruders do you have inside, how big they are, speed of movement. We can show you also the trajectory of the movement for the further investigation, for example. You will understand from which side the intruders enter to your location, and also which way they disappear, and so on. And of course, for the substation, it's also like, it's not only about to protect these kind of the stations on the fence, but we are protecting like whole space. And this is very important because there is usually like mix of your workers, for somebody who, even if there is a worker, you have to know if they are walking somewhere which is okay, or somewhere which can be dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
So we also talking about not only security but also for the safety. Mm-hmm. With the same LiDAR. So for example, like what we did for the EG.D, and you'll talk probably about that. Thanks to 5 LiDARs only, we can protect like whole area. You can divide the area into some safety zones, security zones, no-go zones, so on. So that's why I believe this is like very important for all the substations supposed to be like protected like that way, because if something's happened, you will perfectly know what's happened.
Yeah. So you mentioned, and this is in the case study you sent over, the utility you work with, EG.D, which is a utility in Czech Republic that provides power to about a little bit less than 3 million people. So can you talk a little bit more about working with them? What kind of needs did they illustrate, and how did you kind of mentioned there five LiDAR systems was enough to kind of handle their substation, but what other sort of needs were they looking at? How did that process go? And how did you align your solutions with what their needs were?
It was actually a fantastic journey with them, because I have to say that they have a really, really clever, security director and the guys around him. And, exactly the problem for the substations for EG.D was that there is no operator on site. That's first thing. And imagine that they have like 10, 15 PTZ cameras, which and you need to control the rotation with the cameras, movement with the cameras, without the operators. So they have some fence detection protection on it, right? It wasn't enough, because when somebody touched the fence, maybe they had a alarm situation. Usually, mostly it was like false alarms, what I heard. And then they didn't know if the intruder is inside or outside, and what's going on, how long somebody was there, and so on. So they asked us about to test our solution on site. So there was like first POC with them. We showed them small installation. We installed just 1 or 2 LiDARs, and we prove our system. They were super excited how accurate everything is. So they gave us like first transformer station to protect. So we use, I believe, like 5 standard rotating 360 3D LiDARs on site. Mm-hmm. We use the existing cables also, so it was super cheap and fast installation. That's also important. And we used their existing cameras. I think the installation was done in 2 or 3 days, super fast. you know. And then immediately we start to protect this substation, and I think it was 2 years ago when we started this project. So this is so popular right now in EG.D. So they are planning to install our system everywhere. And actually, their idea was to use our system also for the safety. Because they start asking us, because they have a power lines, you can imagine, and it's usually divided on some power fields. And when during they have some maintenance on some specific field, they have to be sure that somebody, because this maintenance can be for, I don't know, few days. And you can imagine that sometimes people can accidentally go to the different power fields and they can touch the line. So they have lots of many of the accident like that. So they ask us if we can create some specific zones below the power lines, and if they can disarm or arm specific zones like that. So we tested, it's working. So now they are thinking more about the safety than security, which is amazing. With the same amount of the lidars, because we can see everywhere in that power station. So it's very, very interesting story with EG.D.
So yeah, you drill a little bit more down into that. So if somebody does go into, so you can kind of define these danger zones, and if somebody steps into them, there's an alarm that goes off and triggers. From the SOC, or is there something on site that alerts them, like a audio thing?
Yeah, we have, I believe we have an integration with the access speakers. So there is some warning messages or sirens, So, and actually, this is also interesting because the zones are below the power lines, but it's not going on the ground. So you can walk below that, but you cannot raise your hands, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is not only that. So you are able to walk everywhere, but if you will raise your hands, you will be catch, and there will be sounds. So there is still time to warn you before you will touch the wire. So that's very, very important. So it's volumetric. The detection of what we achieve with the lidar is 2 centimeters. It's very accurate. So you can imagine you can perfectly set up the zones very accurately. So yeah, it's amazing.
Okay. Are there any other sort of maintenance applications that this technology can be used for outside of the zones? I mean, there's some sort of other detection or heat sensors that might maybe catch equipment that's overheating or something like that would alert the utility.
Sure, absolutely. Because LiDAR vision, I know that we have in the name the LiDAR, LiDAR, but actually the LiDAR vision is a 3D layer above, for example, basic PSIM systems. So you can connect fire alarm systems, intrusion alarm systems, everything like magnetic contacts, and put all of these things into the digital twin. So then in the end, the operator is working with the digital twin and he is fully oriented about all the alarm events not only from LiDARs, from the other systems also. This is possible, of course.
Okay.
Also, we have one very nice feature, we can also connect our system with some access control systems. And for example, if you will be authorized person, you can be marked as a friendly person. And now you can walk into the normal detection zones without any alarm situation. If somebody will go there without that, we will trigger alarm, so we can distinguish between the friendly and foe, or friendly and unfriendly persons. Also, this is also possible, which is also great. Because you can imagine that there can be some space where only few persons can work, not everybody, not only intruders, just the normal worker from the EG.D, but they don't have no permission to work over there. So these guys can be also tracked as a friendly person, and they can walk there without disarming the zone. So can do the crazy things, but it's our system.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a really great application for that. You kind of mentioned it just briefly there, the digital twin application. Is that something that EG.D used in their planning, their security strategy development? And if so, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, it's actually they are start using that. Also, the company CEZ, which is also a huge big company here. We actually create like digital twins of all their power plants, including the nuclear power plants. The process of to create like digital twin is super easy when you will use the photogrammetry method, when you will use the regular drone, DJI drone or whatever. So, for example, for the substation, I think the digital twin can be done in half an hour with the process of the photogrammetry, and then we have to create like digital twin from it, which takes in this case like 2-3 hours. So let's say in 3-4 hours on site, I'm able to create like digital twin, and this is very important for us because before the real installation, we have also the software called DC3 Designer. And this is always how we starting. We pushing our clients, our customers to create like digital twin. We can help them how to create it, or they can create it by themselves. It's not so complicated. It's super easy. It's fun to do it, And then in the designer, you can place like virtual Lidar into the digital twin, and our system will show you the virtual laser arrays. So we will show you what everything will be covered, what is blocking our view, for example, and so on. And also, we have a virtual intruder in our application, so you can work with this phone and observe if you will have enough points on your body. So before the physical installation, we strongly recommend to do this kind of the simulation, because then you will understand where everywhere you will have a detection, how many LiDARs you will need it, and where to place it, and which kind of the LiDARs, because our system is fully open for all the LiDAR vendors. So we are supporting over 50 different kind of the LiDARs so far. So in our system, we will show you, or you will find a way, how to perfectly secure your site, easiest, cheapest way, for example. So it looks like game, and this was our goal. This is the real gamification of the security field.
I've got some kids home for summer break. They're starting school soon, so all the video and imagery is persistent in the house. But it's great to see, kind of the visual application and having the mathematics behind it to help people coordinate where to position their equipment and where their weak points are, and then all those things. I want to thank you for your time today. If there's anybody, anybody's listening or reading the article, who wants to get in touch with you to learn more about this solution, what's the best way they can do that?
They can probably visit our website, HXGN, like hexagonsecurity.com, or my LinkedIn. It's also a good source of the information. Okay.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today, and love the applications that technology is being used for to propel security forward. And thank you, everybody, for listening today, and stay safe and secure out there.
Don't forget to visit our website at utilitysecurity.com for exclusive intel, resources, and a community of fellow utility security professionals. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay tuned for your next mission briefing.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during this podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Utility Business Media and its employees. It is strongly recommended that you discuss any actions or policy changes with your company